Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into the world of workplace coaching.
Yes.
We're going to be exploring how it can transform not just individual careers, but entire organizations.
Exactly.
We're looking at this article, 7 Benefits of Introducing Coaching at Work.
Okay.
And forget that old idea of coaching as just for fixing problems.
Right.
This is all about unlocking potential and hitting those big goals.
Yeah, it's exciting how coaching has really shifted. It's gone from fixing weaknesses to really helping individuals and teams perform at their best.
It really is like leveling up, like in a video game, but for your career.
Yeah.
And this article, it dives into 7 benefits. And the first one, it really stood out to me. Individual performance and this idea of talent density.
Talent density. Yeah, that's a good one. It's basically like, it's about how many highly skilled people you have in a company.
Okay.
You can think of it like a basketball team. If you have a team made up of only all-stars,
Right.
their combined talent
Yep.
would make them like a super dense and powerful force.
Okay, so I'm seeing where you're going with this, but how does coaching play into making that team of all-stars?
Well, imagine each player on that all-star team having their own coach. Someone to help them refine their skills, strategize their game, and really reach their full potential.
Yeah.
That's basically what coaching can do in a workplace. It helps people figure out their strengths and weaknesses, set those clear goals, and then come up with a plan to get there.
So it's like everyone is getting that personalized attention, to become the best version of themselves professionally.
Exactly. And when you have a whole team doing that, improving all the time, well, naturally the whole team gets better.
Right.
The talent density goes up, and that leads to, better results for the entire organization.
Okay, that makes sense. But it can't all just be about, feel-good stuff. There has to be some actual data to back up this whole idea of improved performance, right?
Oh, there's definitely data. The International Coaching Federation, they found that over 70% of professionals who had coaching, they said that their work performance, their relationships, and their communication skills all got way better.
Wow.
And then there's this. 86% of companies that actually did coaching programs, they said they got a return on their investment. They actually made money from it.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers. Okay, so we've talked about how coaching can help individuals and boost that talent density.
Right.
But let's zoom out a bit. What about the impact on the whole company? That's benefit number 2, organizational performance.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting. The article, it says that when individual performance goes up, it kind of creates a ripple effect. Like it impacts the whole organization in a positive way. You could even call it a chain reaction of like awesomeness.
Okay, I like that. A chain reaction of awesomeness. But can you give me like a specific example of how that actually works?
Sure. Let's say you have a sales team, right? And everyone on the team, they get coaching to improve their communication, how they negotiate, and how to close those deals. Well, when everyone gets better, the whole team's sales numbers go up.
Right.
And that means more revenue for the whole company. Everyone wins.
That's a great example. It makes it a lot clearer. So we have individual growth leading to a more talented workforce, and then that ripple effect that helps the whole company do better.
Exactly.
So what's the next benefit on the list?
Number 3 is all about development opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's where coaching can really shine.
Okay.
You see, a lot of those traditional training programs, they can feel kind of generic,
Yeah.
like not really specific to what each person needs.
Okay.
But coaching, it flips that whole thing around.
Okay.
It helps employees figure out what they want, and then they make their own development plan.
So it's kind of like having your own career GPS.
Exactly. It's like a customized plan just for you.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
not just a one-time thing either. It's ongoing. It changes as you grow and figure things out. It's like having a personal trainer, but for your career.
I like that. Now, I've heard of this 70-20-10 learning model. Where does coaching fit into all of that?
That's a great question. The 70-20 map model, it basically says that 70% of learning should happen on the job, 20% from talking to people, socially, and then only 10% from those formal training programs.
Yeah.
And the great thing about coaching is it fits into all 3 of those.
All 3. How does that work?
Well, coaching can help people take what they've learned and actually use it in their work. That's the 70% part.
Right.
It also helps with the 20%, the social part,
Okay.
because it encourages those interactions, people learning from each other and building relationships. And even for the 10%, the formal training, coaching, can help people get more out of those programs. Like it gives them guidance and support so they can actually use those new skills they learned.
So it's like coaching connects all those different types of learning together.
Exactly. And make sure that learning is continuous and it makes sense for what each person needs and what they want to achieve.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about learning things. It's
Uh,
about being able to use what you've learned to actually get things done, to
Right.
be successful both individually and for the company.
Exactly.
Awesome. So let's move on to benefit number 4, which focuses on something super important in any workplace.
Okay.
We're talking about employee engagement.
Ah, yes. Employee engagement. That's like the heart and soul of any organization. And coaching plays a huge role in making people feel valued and supported. Like they actually want to do their best work.
Okay. So how does coaching do that? How does it lead to better employee engagement? Is it just about feeling good and having someone, cheering you on?
Well, there's more to it than that, although feeling good definitely helps.
Okay.
When employees feel like the company really cares about them, about their growth, their development, then they naturally get more engaged.
So it's about feeling like you're actually a valued part of the team.
Yes, like your contributions matter. And there was this Gallup study. They found that good coaching can be responsible for like 70% of the difference in how engaged a team is.
Wow.
That's a huge impact.
So what are some things leaders can do to create a coaching mindset, within their teams?
It's not as complicated as you might think.
Mm-hmm.
Simple things like just asking good questions,
Okay.
listening to what your team has to say, giving them helpful feedback. All of that goes a long way in making a more supportive environment where people can grow.
So it's about building a culture where everyone feels like they can speak up, ask for help, and learn from what happens, both the good stuff and the mistakes.
Exactly. And when leaders are doing that, being coaches themselves, it makes a difference for the whole organization.
Right.
It creates a more engaged and motivated workforce.
Makes sense. All right, let's move on to benefit number 5, which is about keeping those awesome employees around, retaining key talent.
Ah, yes. Retention. That's a big one. If employees are leaving all the time, it costs businesses a lot of money.
Right.
Not only do you lose all that experience and knowledge,
Yeah.
but then you have to find and train new people.
Yeah.
So investing in employees through coaching, it's a really good way to keep them around.
So it's like a proactive approach.
Yeah.
Keep your best people happy and engaged, and they'll be less likely to go somewhere else.
Exactly. When employees feel valued, supported, and like they have a future at the company, well, they're more likely to stay.
And I've read some of Patrick Lencioni's work. He talks about employee engagement. He says that engaged employees are more loyal, and they even tell other talented people to join the company. It's like they do the recruiting for you.
That's a great point. Coaching definitely helps create that positive cycle.
Yeah.
People stay engaged, they stay at the company, and then they attract even more great people. Everybody wins.
Awesome. So we've seen how coaching can boost performance for individuals and for the organization. We've talked about how it creates personalized development opportunities, how it makes employees more engaged, and how it helps keep those awesome employees around. So what's next?
Well, benefit number 6 is all about something that's becoming more and more important in this fast-changing world we live in.
Right.
Agility. Being able to adapt as an organization.
Agility. Okay, I'm intrigued. How does coaching make a workforce more agile?
Think about it like this. The only thing that's constant is change.
Right.
Markets are always changing, technology is always changing, and businesses need to adapt quickly if they want to stay ahead of the curve.
Definitely. But how does coaching fit into all of that?
Coaching isn't just about learning specific skills.
Okay.
It's about learning how to think in a way that makes you adaptable, how to be resilient when things change. It's about helping people see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow instead of getting discouraged by them.
So it's about moving away from that fixed mindset like, I can't do this,
Yes.
and moving towards a growth mindset. I can learn how to do this.
Exactly. That change in how you think, it's super powerful.
Yeah.
It's the foundation of being agile. When people are willing to learn, to adapt, to grow, they become more resilient and they can handle whatever challenges come their way.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's like you're building a team of problem solvers, who are ready for whatever the future throws at them.
Exactly.
I'm really starting to see how coaching can be a game changer. All right, let's move on to our final benefit, number 7, which focuses on alignment with company goals.
Ah, yes. Alignment. It's all about making sure that what each individual wants matches up with what the company's trying to achieve. When that happens, everyone benefits.
I see how that would be beneficial, but how does coaching help with that?
Well, it helps individuals connect what they want with the company's mission and their strategic direction.
Okay.
When people understand how their work fits into the bigger picture, they feel a sense of purpose, and they're more motivated to do their best.
So it's about showing people how what they do every day is connected to the overall success of the company. So it's not just about their individual work, it's about being part of something bigger.
Exactly. And that feeling of shared purpose, it can be incredibly powerful. It creates an environment where people work better together, they're more engaged, and they all want to achieve the same thing.
I love that. Everyone pulling in the same direction. It's like a well-oiled machine, you know? All the parts working together perfectly. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored 7 amazing benefits of coaching in the workplace, from boosting individual performance and the performance of the whole organization,
Yes.
to making sure employees are engaged and happy and want to stay with the company.
It's impressive, isn't it?
And we talked about creating a more agile and adaptable workforce,
Yeah.
and making sure everyone is working towards the same goals.
It's clear that coaching isn't just a perk anymore. It's something that can give companies a real advantage.
Absolutely. It's about unlocking potential, creating an awesome work environment, and ultimately achieving success for everyone. But before we wrap up, I have a question that's been on my mind.
Okay, what is it?
We've talked a lot about the good things about coaching, but are there any downsides? Are there any challenges companies should think about before they start implementing coaching programs?
That's a really good question. And it is important to remember that coaching isn't some magic solution.
Right.
There could be some things to watch out for.
Okay, so what are some of those potential downsides? What should companies be aware of?
Well, one thing that happens sometimes is that leaders don't really believe in coaching, or employees might be skeptical of it too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If people think coaching is just a way to fix problems or something that HR is making them do, then it's not going to be very effective.
So setting clear expectations and making sure everyone understands the value of coaching, that's super important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing is, you have to choose the right coaches. Not everyone who's good at their job is automatically good at coaching.
Right.
A good coach needs to be good at listening, asking good questions, and helping people figure out their own solutions instead of just telling them what to do.
So it's more about empowering people than just giving them advice.
Exactly. And one last thing, coaching isn't a one-time fix.
Okay.
It needs to be a part of how the company works,
Yeah.
built into the culture. And there need to be resources and training available to support the coaching process.
Those are all really important points. So creating a successful coaching program, it's a strategic process.
Yeah.
It takes time and effort, and everyone needs to be committed to making it work.
Exactly. It's an investment in the growth and development of your people. And just like any investment, it requires time, effort, and a belief that it will pay off in the long run.
Well said. Okay, I think we've talked about the potential downsides pretty thoroughly. But before we move on, I want to make sure we really remember those 7 incredible benefits of coaching that we've been discussing, just to really drive them home.
That's a great idea. Let's recap. What were those key takeaways?
All right, the first one, benefit number 1, was all about individual performance and that cool concept of talent density.
Right. Coaching helps people figure out their strengths, work on their weaknesses, and create their own plan to reach their goals. And when more people in a company start doing that, focusing on growth, you start to see that talent density go way up,
Right.
which means better outcomes for everyone.
It's like you said before, it's like creating a team of all-stars where everyone shines in their own way, but they also contribute to the team's overall brilliance.
Uh-huh. I like that analogy. And then we moved on to benefit number 2, which was about organizational performance. We saw how those individual improvements can actually make a big difference for the whole company. Like a chain reaction of awesomeness.
And we had some pretty amazing stats to back that up.
Oh, yeah, we did. Over 70% of those professionals who got coaching said their work, their relationships, and their communication skills all got better. And 86%, a whopping 86% of companies said they made money from their coaching programs.
Those are definitely some convincing numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to benefit number 3, which was all about creating those personalized development opportunities.
Coaching helps people design their own career roadmap. It provides support that's ongoing, that changes as they change. It's like having that personal career GPS guiding you towards your dream job.
And we talked about how it fits perfectly with that 70.2 and 0.10 learning model, supporting those 3 different types of learning,
Yep.
It's like a super tool that helps people learn and grow in every part of their work.
Exactly. And then we moved on to benefit number 4, which was all about employee engagement.
We talked about how coaching helps create a culture where everyone is learning and growing all the time.
Right.
And that leads to a more engaged and motivated workforce.
And remember that Gallup study we talked about? It found that good coaching can account for a huge 70% of the difference in how engaged a team is.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Okay, so benefit number 5 was about keeping those valuable employees. And we saw how investing in employee development through coaching can actually save companies money in the long run.
Right. Less turnover, more experience.
Yeah.
And we talked about how engaged employees are more likely to recommend their company to others.
Yeah, like a built-in recruiting system.
Exactly. It's a win for everyone. Okay, benefit number 6, that was about agility, being able to adapt quickly.
And coaching plays a big role in that by helping people develop those adaptive thinking skills and that super important growth mindset.
Right. It's about seeing challenges as chances to learn instead of getting stuck in that I can't do this mindset.
And then finally, benefit number 7 was about alignment with company goals.
Yeah, making sure that what each person wants matches up with what the company wants to achieve.
And coaching helps bridge that gap by showing individuals how their work is connected to the bigger picture.
Right. And that can be incredibly motivating for people.
So we've really seen how powerful coaching can be, both for individuals and for organizations. It helps boost performance and engagement.
Absolutely.
It helps create a more agile and adaptable workforce. And it makes sure everyone is working together towards the same goals.
It's clear that coaching isn't just a nice thing to have anymore. It's something that companies need to think about if they want to thrive in this complex and ever-changing world.
Okay, we've covered so much today, but before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of workplace coaching, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about, a question to ponder.
Oh, I like where this is going. Hit me with it.
Thinking about your own career or your team or your company, what is one specific area where incorporating a coaching mindset could really make a difference?
That's a great question. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Improving communication skills, becoming a better leader, making the work environment more collaborative and supportive. There are so many possibilities.
And remember, you don't have to have a formal program to do it.
Right.
Even just using some of those basic coaching principles in your daily interactions can have a positive impact.
Absolutely. Start by asking yourself, what can I do to better support the people around me? How can I help them grow and develop? Maybe it's as simple as really listening to your colleagues, offering them encouragement, or asking them questions that help them figure things out on their own.
Those are all fantastic starting points. And remember, coaching isn't about giving advice. It's about empowering others to find their own solutions, to discover their own brilliance.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels valued, where they're challenged to grow, and where they feel inspired to bring their best selves to work every day.
Well said.
Yeah, those are some great starting points. And remember, coaching isn't about giving advice. It's about empowering others to find their own solutions, to discover their own brilliance.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels valued, where they're challenged to grow, and where they feel inspired to bring their best selves to work every day.
Well said. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of part 1 of our deep dives into the world of workplace coaching.
We've covered a lot of ground, but don't worry, there's more to come.
We'll be back soon with part 2, where we'll be tackling some of those potential challenges and downsides that companies should be aware of when considering coaching programs.
Yeah, we'll dig deeper into those potential pitfalls and explore how to avoid them so you can create a coaching program that really works.
We'll also recap those 7 incredible benefits of workplace coaching, just to make sure they're fresh in your mind.
And we'll leave you with a final thought-provoking question, something to really get those wheels turning.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving right back into our deep dive on workplace coaching.
And we're picking up where we left off, exploring those potential downsides that companies should be aware of.
Right. Because like with anything, coaching programs aren't perfect, There's some things to watch out for.
So what are some of those potential pitfalls? What should companies be aware of? Well, one challenge that happens sometimes is that you don't have buy-in from the top.
Oh, okay.
The leadership team might not be fully on board with coaching, or even some employees, they might be skeptical too.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
If people think that coaching is just a way to fix people who are having problems, or something that HR is forcing them to do, well, then it's not going to work very well.
Right. So making sure everyone understands what coaching really is, and what the benefits are, that's super important.
Absolutely. And another thing is, you got to have the right coaches. Not everyone who's good at their job is automatically a good coach.
Makes sense.
Good coaches, they need to be good at listening, asking good questions, and helping people find their own answers instead of just telling them what to do.
So it's more about empowering people than just giving them advice, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one last thing. Coaching, it's not a one-time fix.
Okay.
It needs to be built into the company culture. It needs to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
And there need to be resources and training to support it.
Those are all really valuable insights. So it sounds like creating a successful coaching program, it's a strategic process. It takes time and effort.
Absolutely. It's about investing in the growth and development of your people.
And just like any good investment, it requires time, effort, and a commitment to see it through.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think we've discussed the potential downsides pretty thoroughly, but before we wrap up, I want to make sure we really hit home those 7 awesome benefits of coaching that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, let's refresh everyone's memory. What were those key takeaways?
Okay, benefit number 1, it was all about individual performance and that concept of talent density.
Right. Coaching helps individuals figure out what they're good at, what they need to work on, and create a plan to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And when more people in a company start doing that, focusing on their development, you really start to see a boost in talent density.
Yeah.
Which means better outcomes for everyone.
It's like you said earlier, it's like building a team of all-stars. Everyone's shining in their own way, but they're also contributing to the overall brilliance of the team.
I love that analogy. It paints a great picture. And then we moved on to benefit number 2, organizational performance. How those individual improvements actually help the whole company do better.
Right. Like that chain reaction of awesomeness we were talking about.
Exactly. And we had those impressive statistics to back it up.
Yeah, those are pretty convincing. Over 70% of the professionals who got coaching reported improvements in their work, relationships, and communication. And 86% of companies, a whopping 86%, said they actually saw a return on investment from their coaching programs.
Pretty impressive. Okay, benefit number 3 was all about creating those personalized development opportunities.
Yeah, coaching helps individuals design their own career path,
Right.
It gives them the support they need to grow and change over time.
It's like having a personal career GPS guiding you towards those big goals.
And we talked about how coaching fits right in with that 70.20.10 inserting learning model.
Yes, it supports all 3 types of learning.
It really is like a multifaceted tool.
Absolutely. And then we talked about benefit number 4, which was employee engagement.
Right, how coaching can help create a culture of continuous learning and development, leading to a more engaged workforce.
And remember that Gallup study?
Yep.
Good coaching can account for a whopping 70% of the difference in how engaged a team is.
Yeah, that's significant. Okay, benefit number 5 was all about keeping those valuable employees, reducing turnover.
And we talked about how engaged employees, well, they're more likely to recommend their company to other talented individuals.
Yeah, it creates that positive cycle of attracting and retaining top talent. Okay, benefit number 6 was agility. Being able to adapt quickly in a world that's always changing.
And coaching plays a big role in that by helping people develop those adaptive thinking skills and that super important growth mindset. Seeing challenges as opportunities, not roadblocks.
Exactly. And finally, benefit number 7, alignment with company goals.
Making sure everyone's on the same page, working together towards a common goal.
And coaching helps bridge that gap between individual aspirations and the company's overall objectives.
Right, showing people how their work fits into the bigger picture.
So it's clear that coaching can have a really powerful impact. It helps with performance, engagement, agility, alignment. It touches so many important aspects of a company's success.
Absolutely. And in today's world where everything's changing so fast, coaching isn't just a nice to have, it's a must have.
Okay, we've covered a ton of information today, but before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
I'm always a fan of thought-provoking questions. Hit me with it.
Okay, so think about your own career, your team, your company. What's one thing, one specific area where adopting a coaching mindset could make a real and lasting difference?
That's a great question. There are so many possibilities. Could be communication skills, leadership development, creating a more collaborative environment.
And remember, it doesn't have to be a formal coaching program. Even small changes, bringing some basic coaching principles into your daily interactions can make a difference.
Absolutely. It's all about supporting the growth and development of the people around you. Ask yourself, how can I help them succeed? How can I help them unlock their potential?
That's a perfect place to start. And remember, coaching isn't about giving advice. It's about empowering others to discover their own solutions.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of learning, growth, and support, where everyone feels valued and inspired to do their best work.
Well said. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive on workplace coaching. But don't go anywhere.
We'll be back soon with part 3, where we'll explore how coaching can actually benefit both the coach and the person being coached. It's a two-way street.
We'll also talk about how to build a coaching culture, how to make coaching a part of your company's DNA.
And of course, we'll leave you with some final inspiring thoughts to take with you on your own coaching journey.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're jumping right back into our deep dive on workplace coaching.
And we're picking up where we left off. You're talking about how coaching can benefit both the coach and the person being coached.
It's like a two-way street, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just the person being coached who learns and grows. The coach also gains valuable insights and develops their skills.
So it's a win-win situation for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Coaching helps build stronger relationships too. When you're coaching someone, you're investing in them, and that strengthens the bond between you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it creates a more collaborative and supportive work environment overall.
Right. It's about building each other up and creating a culture of continuous learning and growth.
I love that idea of a culture of continuous learning and growth. So how can companies actually build that kind of culture? How can they make coaching a part of their DNA?
Well, it starts with leadership.
Huh.
Leaders need to set the example, embrace a coaching mindset themselves, and encourage others to do the same.
So lead by example, walk the walk.
Exactly. And it's not just about formal coaching programs either. Integrate coaching principles into everyday interactions. Encourage people to ask questions, listen actively, and provide feedback.
So it's about creating a culture where coaching is just a natural part of how people interact and work together.
Precisely. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels comfortable asking for help, offering support, and celebrating each other's successes.
That sounds like a fantastic workplace to be a part of.
It really is. And it's something that any company can strive for.
So let's wrap up our deep dive today with some final inspiring thoughts. What are your key takeaways when it comes to the power of coaching?
Well, for me, it all boils down to this. Coaching is about unlocking potential in others and in ourselves. It's about creating a more engaged, motivated, and fulfilling work experience for everyone.
I love that. And remember, folks, coaching isn't just for executives or managers. It's for everyone at every level of an organization.
Absolutely. Whether you're a seasoned leader or just starting out, there's always something to learn and something to share.
So embrace a coaching mindset. Ask questions, listen actively, and be willing to both give and receive feedback.
And watch as the positive ripple effects spread throughout your team, your organization, and beyond.
Well said. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the amazing world of workplace coaching.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And remember, the journey of learning and growth never ends.
So keep learning, keep growing, and keep unlocking your full potential.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep crushing it, everyone.